I swear I'm not getting mad, just tell.
Josephine Carter.
Josephine Carter, that old slut.
Hey, I'm pretty good.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
You're not either.
I am the best.
You're the worst.
I am the drywall master of the universe.
Yay! And a pet shark!
How does a sitcom built around a kitchen table covered in bills become the #1 show on television, then get wiped out by a single tweet in under 24 hours? That's Roseanne. It debuts in 1988, starts as a lifeline for a network on life support, then climbs until it's the most watched show in America. So how does a show that redefined the working-class sitcom get canceled overnight with no warning, no negotiation, just a hard cut to black? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the real truth behind the rise and fall of Roseanne. Part 1, the desperate birth of a classic. It's 1988, and ABC is in serious trouble. 8 of the 10 lowest-rated shows on television, bleeding viewers, and no identity to rally around. They don't just need a hit, they need something that resets who they are entirely. And then, Roseanne shows up with a concept that sounds obvious now, but felt risky then. No perks, no fantasy, no glossy life. Just a plastics factory worker in Illinois raising 3 kids with her husband Dan, one bad month away from disaster. Marcy Carsey and Tom Werner had seen Roseanne Barr doing her domestic goddess stand-up, complaining about terrible kids and exhausting days with the exact tone your aunt uses when she loves you, but also wants to throw a slipper at your head. Tom Werner later said they saw a voice that wasn't being represented on television. That's the whole pitch, a voice that didn't exist on TV yet. And you feel it the second the show starts. The Connor house isn't cute, it's cluttered. The kitchen table is a battlefield. Bills, papers, half-lived life stacked on every surface. There's a moment early on where Darlene asks for money for a school trip, and Roseanne doesn't give a speech. She just says they don't have it. That's the laugh, and it's also the truth. This show isn't trying to impress you. It's trying to recognize you. The casting locks it in. They needed a Dan who could ground the chaos without flattening it. John Goodman walks into the audition, looks at Roseanne, and says, "Scoot over." She snaps back, "Shut up." He sits down anyway. Writer Matt Williams later said it felt like they'd been married for 16 years. That's the whole show. America identifies with it instantly. The premiere pulls a massive audience, the show climbs fast, and ABC finally has the anchor it's been desperate for. Which is exactly when the war starts. Part 2, the stress tests that should have killed it. This is where sitcoms usually don't die from bad writing. They die from power ripping a hole in the room. First hit, the creator credit. The pilot airs, the cast and crew gather to watch it, and when the credits roll, it says, "Created by Matt Williams." Roseanne explodes, storms out, and screams at Williams in front of everyone. In her mind, the show is built around her life, her voice, her kids. The creator credit should reflect that. But Williams wrote the pilot, and under Writers Guild rules, that's the receipt. It's not just ego, it's leverage. Credit is who holds the steering wheel. And Roseanne learns fast that ABC cannot afford to lose her. She refuses lines, locks herself in her dressing room, walks off set mid-scene. After only 13 episodes, she delivers the ultimatum. Either Williams leaves or she does. A BC chooses the person on the posters, not the person who built the blueprint. Williams is out, and the lesson becomes the unspoken rule of the entire production. She has all the power. Once that door opens, it doesn't close. The show becomes a rotating door of writers and showrunners trying to survive inside a creative monarchy. She brings Tom Arnold into the writer's room, then marries him. One writer in The Orbit famously described the vibe as, "This is not a democracy, this is a queendom." Writers quit, executive producers cycle, the staff changes constantly. And the craziest part? The audience barely notices, because the on-screen product stays sharp. You can see why. The early seasons are packed with episodes that become cultural memory. Halloween turns into a yearly event. The show does strange, funny, heartfelt swings, dream sequences, musical parody moments, and then snaps back to real problems like jobs, kids, and family grudges. That worn couch with the crocheted Afghan, that cluttered kitchen table, it all says this family has lived here for a long time, and they're still here. And Roseanne isn't just playing a mom, she's playing a mother as a central voice. Loud, flawed, and not cute about it. Critics praise it for showing working-class life without condescension. The ratings stay massive. ABC has its #1 hit, which is exactly why the chaos keeps getting tolerated. Then comes the moment that turns Roseanne into a national punchline, and somehow also proves she's untouchable. July 1990. ABC sets up a promotional tie-in with a baseball game. Roseanne is asked to sing the national anthem. She goes out there, deliberately performs it in a mocking screech, grabs her crotch, and spits. The backlash is instant. Politicians comment, switchboards flood, a BC panics. And then the show comes back, and the audience still shows up. That's the power and the poison in one image. Roseanne can do something that would end almost anyone else, and the numbers say the network still needs her. The show keeps swinging into real territory. In 1994, there's the episode where Roseanne is kissed by a woman at a gay bar. ABC executives are terrified. Sponsors threaten to pull out. Affiliates threaten not to air it. Roseanne threatens to take the show elsewhere if they don't run it. ABC caves. The episode airs and pulls a massive audience. Another win. Another reminder that when you have the hit, you don't negotiate with the star. You brace for impact. By the mid-90s, the production stories get so extreme, they start to sound like satire. Roseanne reportedly refers to her writers by numbers. The writers wear shirts with those numbers. One writer, who later creates her own massive hit, later says that refusing to learn someone's name isn't a quirk, it's a system. And systems built on fear and exhaustion can only make good comedy for so long. On screen, you can feel the show inching towards something heavier. Season 8 sets up one of the most gutting arcs of the whole run. Dan suffers a massive heart attack at a family wedding. The next episode, he's rushed to the hospital. Then the season finale delivers one of those arguments that feels too real for comfort. Money, weight, resentment, old wounds, everything comes up. Things get thrown. The living room gets wrecked. Roseanne walks out. It's devastating. And it feels like the show is ready to pivot into a final stretch that actually matters. And then season 9 makes a decision that breaks the emotional contract with the audience. The Connors win the Illinois State Lottery, $108 million. And suddenly, the entire engine of the show, the struggle, the bills, the identity, evaporates. Jackie gets a prince from a made-up country. The family meets celebrities. The tone goes surreal. John Goodman is barely there for much of the season, and without Dan anchoring the marriage, the center of gravity floats away entirely. Fans feel betrayed. Critics call it a betrayal. Ratings crash hard, the show dropping down the rankings like the floor disappeared. That's why the finale's last-second rescue attempt is so complicated. It reveals the lottery never happened. The trips never happened. Roseanne has been writing a book, twisting reality into fantasy because she couldn't handle what actually occurred. The most brutal reveal is that Dan didn't survive the heart attack. In reality, he died, and Roseanne wrote him alive because she couldn't bear to let him go. It's heartbreaking, and it almost redeems the chaos. Almost, because the damage is already done. Part 3, the revival that ended with a tweet. The original run ends in 1997 with a legacy that's complicated but undeniable. Because even if you hate the last season, you can't erase what Roseanne did to television. It proved a working-class family could carry a hit without being sanitized. It normalized bodies that weren't perfect without making weight the punchline. It treated a mother's voice like the center, not the side dish. People inside the industry openly point to its influence on later shows about struggling families. And then, 2 decades later, it happens again. A BC brings Roseanne back as a mid-season replacement with the original cast. The Connor House sets recreated like a museum exhibit for your childhood. The premiere pulls an enormous live audience, and delayed viewing numbers grow even bigger across the week. A BC renews the show almost immediately because it looks like lightning struck twice. Roseanne, the character, is now a working-class Trump supporter. Jackie is on the other side. The show leans into that family political split and gets praised for feeling like the old show with modern tension. But the same ticking bomb is still strapped to the project because the show has always been inseparable from its star. And Roseanne Barr has a long history of posting inflammatory things online. Even during the revival, there are moments that keep stirring backlash. A joke about a Muslim neighbor building a bomb. A line that reads like a dig at ABC shows about Black and Asian families. The cultural war heat stays around it because the person at the center keeps feeding it. Then comes May 29th, 2018. Roseanne posts a message comparing Valerie Jarrett, a Black former Obama advisor, to an ape. The comparison lands like a detonation. A BC moves fast. Network president Channing Dungey calls it abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with their values, and announces the show is canceled. Disney CEO Bob Iger publicly backs that decision. There's no long negotiation, no slow collapse, just a hard cut to black. The fallout doesn't stop with a press release. Consulting producer Wanda Sykes announces she's leaving. Cast members publicly condemn the tweet. People describe feeling hurt, embarrassed, and blindsided. Roseanne deletes the post and apologizes. It doesn't matter. The call is already made. Plans get pulled. Reruns get yanked from schedules. Streaming availability changes. Hundreds of people who worked on the show lose their jobs because one person couldn't stop tweeting. But the Connor family doesn't die. ABC retitles the whole thing The Connors, continuing without Roseanne, killing off her character, and keeping going. Because the Connor house can exist without its loudest voice, even if the entire identity of the original series was built around that voice. The irony is brutal. Roseanne spent decades fighting to make sure the show was literally named after her. And in the end, the franchise survives by removing her name entirely. So, what's the rise and fall really about? it's not just a sitcom story, it's a power story. Roseanne rises because it tells the truth in a way TV rarely did. It puts dignity on people who are trying hard. It makes the kitchen table a character. It takes real fights, real exhaustion, real small humiliations, and turns them into comedy that doesn't feel fake. And it falls twice for the same reason. The show's biggest strength is also its biggest vulnerability. It's built around a singular voice, and when that voice becomes impossible to contain, the whole structure shakes. In the original run, the chaos stays mostly behind the scenes until the creative choices finally break the audience's trust. In the revival, the chaos escapes through a phone screen, and this time ABC decides it's not negotiating. That's the tragedy and the lesson. When you think about Roseanne, what do you remember first? The jokes at the kitchen table, the Halloween chaos, Jackie spiraling and somehow saving every scene, Dan and Roseanne fighting like real married people, Darlene's sarcasm turning into armor, that house that actually felt like a house? Or do you remember the ending, the lottery, the twist, the tweet, the corporate statement that turned the #1 revival into a headline overnight? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want more rise and fall stories from the shows that raised us, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.